not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of the New Leaf podcast. For approximately the next 1 to 2 hours, all video game nerd discussions are legal. Please move yourself to a safe place and stay there until this warning has lifted. Again, this is not a test.
All right, everybody, welcome to episode 6 of the New Leaf podcast. This is your host, Christian. I'm joined, obviously, by a couple of other very smart guys. You guys want to introduce yourselves?
Hi, this is Tanner. You can find me at TannerMan13 on Xbox One. Tyler will give you the link sometime.
Oh yeah, I never did do that. Yeah, whatever. I'll figure that out eventually. Hi guys, it's Tyler. Obviously failing in many ways as I forget to do things, but yeah.
And last in line is the beloved Taylor, made 1994, also known as Taylor. And I love you guys, so.
All right.
Part1 podcast.
Great start of the podcast. How was you guys' week? Taylor, what'd you do?
Actually, this was a very depressing week for me. I felt like I didn't do anything. I barely played any Xbox this week. I just worked and I worked out. My buddy got home from deployment actually on Wednesday. Wednesday. So we've been kind of doing stuff with them every night since he's got back. So I really haven't had too much time to play Xbox, but just been working and working out and just making a living, and just having a good old time. Oh, and I joined a new small group this week, so it was a good first week. So that also adds to my week of things. So
was it awkward, like talking to new people? Were they like around your age or?
No, they're all like 20 years older than me. And Christian, do you even know who I am? I'm never awkward talking to random people, dude.
Okay,
So.
yeah, but still, they're all older. That's not weird or anything?
No, it's not weird at all. It's actually pretty nice. It's nice not like having to deal with, not that everybody's like that, but a lot of kids my age, at least around here, are very immature. So it's nice not having to deal with that kind of aspect of the group kind of thing. So
yeah,
it was good.
Definitely true.
So yeah, it was good.
How about you, Tyler?
All right, well, this week I worked at Walmart. White Death came in. The snow was crazy. Not as crazy as Boston or anything, but we had good like 6 inches or so. It was fun. Got to push carts in that, which 4 carts becomes like the max, it seems, of how many carts you can push when the snow's fighting against you. But a little interesting finding out how weak I was against snow. But I played a little bit of DayZ. I'm making progress on becoming a sniper in that game. I found a Mosin and a long-range scope, and also have made the top of a ghillie suit. Got the head done.
Oh, nice.
So did all that. I was doing schoolwork and also neglected to do schoolwork. At the same time, it was like, oh, hey, let's do this. And it's like, I guess I can push it off since it's not due. And so,
well, that's
anyways,
just normal school.
Yeah, that may be normal life, but that's what I did. So I got to spend time with my family during those moments, which was fun. But, yeah, overall, just gotta prioritize. But, did that. And honestly, my week went by just so fast, it seemed. I don't know if it was just the, because I was working so much or anything like that, but it just really seemed like it went by fast. And I mean, I didn't really play a lot of games this week because, every time I wanted to play, either, Taylor was busy or Christian fell asleep. So it was, wasn't a whole lot of gaming I did, but it was overall still a good week. And the Xbox that we have is still out for repair. So hopefully we get it back before Christmas, and looking forward to that.
What
about
Christmas?
you, Tam Man? Yeah, I said Christmas.
Well, my week was pretty good. I've made some business here lately, and That was good. I gotta ship the figures out tomorrow. Just finding out news about upcoming figures, and then the other thing I was doing, I've been playing Xbox games. I'll be playing Xbox games whenever we get our Xbox back from Microsoft and play Dragon Ball Z Xenoverse after watching a review to see if the controls are good. And
When does that come out again?
Tuesday,
Oh, this week.
24th this month.
in this year. It's
2015.
finishing up.
Yeah, this
I
year.
think it's next year, right?
No, it's 2015.
I think Dragon Ball Z fans would be heartbroken if they delayed it 1 year, two or 3 days prior to the release of it.
Yeah.
And
And then besides that, just played some Finny Blade 3 again. I am grinding, how you could say, and can't wait for Arkham Knight and Dragon Ball Z Xenoverse, and the continuation of using my toy business as a ministry, and that's pretty much about me for right now.
cool.
Sounds like Tanner had the most exciting week out of all of us. So.
Probably.
He did.
My week was a lot like Tyler's, I guess you could say. I was constantly tired this week because I was shoveling snow at work all week, shoveling snow off of truck docks and whatever. It was ridiculous. Monday I had to catch a ride to work because my car, they hadn't plowed my street, so my car wouldn't have been able to make it out to the main road. And when I got to work at 4 a.m, there was only myself and 2 other employees till about 5 o'clock. And when the store was supposed to open at 6, there was only about 5 employees in the store. So it's been a crazy week for sure. But luckily I didn't hit any deer, or no deer hit me. So that's a plus. As far as games, I didn't do a whole lot either. I think I just played a little bit of Dying Light with Taylor this weekend. I didn't do much at all really during the week. Like Tyler said, every time I went to get on, I'd get stopped doing something else, and I'd just like fall asleep on the couch for an hour or two, and then get up and have to go to bed so I get back into work in the morning. But hopefully this week is supposed to be a little warmer. I won't be as tired. What else did we do? We played Counter-Strike, or at least attempted to play some Counter-Strike the other day, which was fun, except for Taylor had a lot of lag. But
I wonder why.
yeah, well,
I'm only like 3,670 something miles away from you guys, so.
Oh, that shouldn't have anything to do with it. Maybe, I don't know. But it's been a long time since I played that, and I forgot how crazy intense that was. But I had a lot of fun playing it for the 2 hours or so that I did. I also this week played the demo of Scream Ride. Have you guys heard of that game on the Xbox
Yes.
One?
Please talk about that, because I see people playing it, but I don't know like if it's good or not.
So I'll say this. I will not buy the game. It did not grab my interest really. The whole thing, it's kind of like a roller coaster tycoon, I guess you could say. You can build like a roller coaster or whatever. It's kind of this like futuristic society. It's weird. It's just odd the way it's all set up. But it's like this whole world of just like theme park stuff. And you go and you can build this roller coaster, and the point of the game when you're actually playing it is you control the roller coaster. So you can make a track. I guess other people can play it. You can play it. But when you actually play it, you take control of the roller coaster, and you're making it go faster. You're making it go slower. You can set it up on like 2 wheels around turns, and you get points for doing all this stuff. You can go over like these boost sections, and if you hit like time it right, there's like a little quick time button press you do. If you time it right, then you get points. And you're trying to like build up enough points to beat the level. There's like a certain number of score you need to get to pass the level. I don't really know what you get for passing the level. I guess you get achievements or whatever, but it is a demo, so there's not a whole lot of detail they can put into it, I guess. So you had the play mode, you had the build mode. The only mode that I thought was interesting at all was the destruction mode, where it gives you like a pod that people, like the passengers, sit in, and there's this huge arm thing that's like swinging it around, and you can aim it and tell it when to release and how much power you give it. And you aim it at like buildings and these little target things and these like bouncing things, and you try to hit the pod that the passengers are in off of this stuff and destroy stuff. And that was a lot of fun. Like, you try to rack up as much destruction as you can. It's kind of like there's plenty of other games. There's a Kinect game that was kind of like this a while back. But I guess you could say it's almost like an Angry Birds type thing, where you try to hit like weak points and everything comes crashing and blowing up, and you get points depending on how much destruction you get. And that was really the only fun mode that I played on it. So I don't know, I guess it'd be good for like younger kids maybe, but it just wasn't interesting enough for me. And I'm curious, I don't know how much the game actually is going to cost, but I for sure don't think it's worth $60 unless there's just tons and tons of content in the actual game. But that's the extent of my experience with it.
Well, if all you get is achievements, that's stupid, because achievements are stupid anyway. I don't know why anyone will try and get them. So,
well, I don't know if there's other like pods or like rail cars that you unlock or whatever. I'm sure that you have to get a certain number of points maybe to get to the next area or level or whatever you want to call it, but I don't know, it didn't seem like there was a whole lot there. But
I was just kidding anyway, because I like achievements, but
yeah, I was waiting for that because I remember you've got quite a few. Achievements would have been much better if they actually had a prize, or like you get to unlock something for your avatar or something like that. Give them like a completion, and
Speaking of avatars are totally pointless on the Xbox One.
Yeah,
but they still have them, and I've heard like rumors that they're going to be doing something new with them, but I don't know. Like, remember on the 360 there was all those avatar games, and they were kind of cool.
Yeah, like Dorio's Crash Course and
Yeah. That was really fun. That was a lot of fun, actually. I liked that one a lot. But yeah, avatars are kind of dumb at the moment.
Well, yeah. I wish I could show mine off to you, Christian.
Mine's in my gamer tag picture. That's about the only thing that it's used for.
Mine too.
Yeah.
I'm kind of proud of mine, though. He's kind of this like crazy confused look on his face. I don't know, it's weird. I haven't seen anybody else like it. Whereas like the default pictures they give you, I have like 3 or 4 friends with the same picture. That's annoying because it doesn't show their name all the time, so it's hard to identify them by the profile picture. Anyways, enough on that. For this week and probably next week, we are going to be talking about some of the pros and cons of owning an Xbox One, because I think since launch, the Xbox One, I've enjoyed it at least, and it's had some ups and downs, I guess you could say, but the future is looking pretty promising. So I kind of got inspired by Travis Patterson on Twitter, who was on the Queued Up podcast that I was on last week. I think he actually ended up buying a console. I think he bought a Wii U. I don't know why, but anyways, he was debating on which console to buy. So I was like, I don't know if I've ever seen anything that really condenses everything about the Xbox One as far as the games, the service, the Kinect if you have it, how it compares to other things. So that's what we're going to talk about for a little bit. And this week we're probably only going to have time to do the actual games, which are the only exclusives, which will be both exclusives just for the Xbox One, or timed exclusives where they're coming out on Xbox One first and then coming to other platforms later, except for one game in the timed exclusives, but I still want to talk about that one. But besides those, all the actual exclusives that we're going to talk about are only on the Xbox One. There's a lot of them that have been left off because they're coming out on the Xbox One and the 360. Some of them have been left off because they're coming out on the Xbox One or the PC or the 360 PC, whatever. These are only on the Xbox One as of right now. That could change in the future, but they haven't announced such a thing yet. So first we're going to talk about some of the past exclusive games or games that have already come out this year. And I'm going to tell you right now, I think my favorite on the list is Crimson Dragon. What do you guys think?
That is an excellent choice. Wow. I am so glad you brought that up.
Probably the most groundbreaking game I've ever played.
Oh, no lie. Sorry, I can't continue. No, Crimson Dragon is a terrible game. It's cool maybe if you're like 6, but it's like you control a dragon, obviously. You can have a crimson one. That's kind of cool, I guess. Or you can have other colors. But it's an on-rails shooter type thing. Do you guys remember when they first announced this at E3 in 2013, I think? Where it was
this game is garbage. I don't know why you want to talk about it.
No, I'm just saying it was like a huge deal when it was announced, and it was just totally crap. But anyways, that was just something funny.
Yeah.
The first one that I actually want to talk about is Rise, Son of Rome. Now this has come out on the PC since. I'm not sure when the exact PC release date was, but for a very long time it was only on the Xbox One. Tyler, I don't know if you played this, but me and Taylor played it quite a bit.
Yeah, I have nothing to add to this one.
Yeah, I feel like it's a good game. I didn't like how the game is over exotic of QuickTime events. That was my thing about it.
That is a good point.
Because it wasn't as much as a lot of other games.
But it was still a lot.
It was, but it was only in like the cutscenes. Wasn't it? There wasn't any in the actual gameplay.
Yeah, there was. Yes, there was.
When?
When you were like in combat, like how you would execute them and stuff like that.
Oh, the executions, but that wasn't like the normal combat. I mean, you didn't have to do those.
No, yeah.
I'm talking like what I am thinking of when somebody says QuickTime events is like you have to push this button at this time to continue, and if you miss that button and you lose, you have to go back to the checkpoint or whatever. It wasn't like that. Like you could, if you didn't want to do the executions, you could just keep hitting them with the regular attacks. But if you wanted to do the executions, you could do and it wasn't really a quick time thing. It was like a combo. I guess, I don't know. It was kind of a mix between a quick time event and a regular just combo button sequence.
Yeah, and really I have to say I did enjoy the game. Unfortunately, this game was kind of the same thing a lot, and I really enjoy games that go back to this period of time. I don't know if you guys remember on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 2 and I'm sorry, not 360, but Xbox original and stuff like that. There was a game called Spartan Total Warrior, maybe, or something like that.
I remember that, but I don't.
And it was just like Rise, really, more or less, and it was awesome. And I like games where you're like cutting arms off and legs and heads off.
Was it that fighting game?
No, it was just like it was more of like a Spartan type human take of God of War, essentially, without all of like the gods and stuff that you're killing and that kind of thing. So it had that kind of feel to the gameplay, and I like games that take you back, like I said, in this kind of era of time with Rome and stuff like that. So I really enjoyed this game. I think it didn't have the replayability that I wanted it to.
Yeah.
But I did replay it 2 or 3 times just to get the achievement. But it was a good launch game, in my opinion. So
yeah, I thought it was a strong launch game too. I mean, it definitely it doesn't hold up over time, but like Taylor said, I liked the story, I liked the setting. It was during, I guess you could say, like the beginning of the fall of the Roman Empire, where you've got all the like the barbarians attacking them, and that is, and it was a real like a real true to history, you know what I'm saying? Not like the glorified Roman like movies and all that stuff. It was like the actual stuff that was going on, and the story was pretty good, I thought. A lot of really interesting moments. I thought it was cool the way they told the story. I don't know if you remember, Taylor, where throughout the story he's talking to the emperor, and then at the end of it just kind of transition. I don't know if we're really allowed to spoil it, but I would definitely say if you've got some, it's probably pretty cheap now. If you've got some extra dollars, it'd be a good one to try out, or maybe rent.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I would recommend that. But the next game I want to spend more time on, just because it's more of a popular game, is Titanfall as an Xbox exclusive.
Yes, we need to.
Yeah,
we really
I felt
need
like
to
that
play
was a
this.
little bit better than Ron Signing Room. After a while, the hype for that game went down.
Out of everything, though, I think Titanfall might be the best on the list that we have for the past exclusives to talk about. And when Tyler gets his Xbox back, I really, really want to play this again with you guys. And hopefully some listeners would like to play this with us too, because the couple things that I don't like about it is it doesn't have as many guns as like Call of Duty or Battlefield or anything like that, but the guns are very well balanced. And this was, I don't want to say this was the first game that did like the free running stuff mixed in with a first person shooter, but
Yeah,
a lot
Brink,
of games.
I know Brink had it.
Oh yeah, that's right. But a lot of games now are kind of picking up on that. Call of Duty with the exosuits, and Halo with the little booster packs,
Jetpacks and stuff like that, right?
Like a lot more games are using that now, because it really creates a lot of verticality to the levels, you could say, where it's not just in the streets or like, I don't know, it's like you're fighting on the walls and on the rooftops and just a lot of different stuff than just your regular run around the same paths on the maps and just like hide in the same corners or whatever. And plus, just that dynamic of the Titans adds a whole lot to the game, and the fact that it kind of puts everybody on an even playing field. Like, everybody will get a Titan during the course of the game. Even if you're probably the worst player of all time, you're still going to get a Titan in the game. You may not get it as fast as the best player in the game, but you'll still get one. You'll still have the opportunity to use it. It did very well on release as far as the stability of the servers, you could say. I didn't really notice, or I didn't remember any like trouble getting into matches or anything like that. And they had I don't know if they had more than one beta. I know they for sure had one beta on the Xbox that I played. I think I was the only one. But it was a very strong launch. Didn't have as much issues as a lot of the other games did that have come out. They've constantly added new free things to the game to make it better. I did buy the season pass for this one of the few games that I bought the season pass for. And I've enjoyed the maps. There's not a whole lot of people playing them, but I hope more people picked it up when it was super cheap. Taylor, I know you bought it again. It was like $12.50 for the game plus this
$12 for $12 for the game and everything. So yeah,
sorry.
No, I was just gonna say I enjoyed the game. I really enjoyed the shooter aspect. I like quick games, no slow poking around, not really into the action. I felt like something was always going on, whether it was guys coming at you. Wow, my voice is cracked. Whether it was guys coming at you or if it was a Titan coming at you, the jetpacks and the distance you could go with them, height wise was really cool because I know there's a few maps where there would be a real tight spot at the top of the map, and you could just sit up there and kind of like hang on the wall like a bug and just sit there and wait for a few seconds and wait for someone to come, and you could jump down, like get on the Titan and start breaking it and stuff like that. So
it was so easy to do, like just the coolest stuff ever in that game.
right.
Yeah.
And that I like that aspect of it, and I like the shooting, like you said before, like it felt very balanced. And really the only thing I didn't like about the game is I'm also a very big fan of story, and I hate games where they kind of implement the multiplayer into the story. That's just not fun to me. I think a single player experience should be a totally different experience than multiplayer, in my opinion. So I really don't like games that kind of take that kind of playing field with their video games. So
I thought it was okay how they did it, but you're right, it wasn't the best that it could have been, I don't think. And it's really interesting the world that they've kind of set up in terms of the story. So I hope that Titanfall 2 will be, which will probably not be an Xbox exclusive, by the way, but I hope that Titanfall 2 will have more of a traditional story aspect.
I think that Titanfall definitely was one of my favorite games just because when you play the game, it drops you into the situation. Like when you're on the battlefield, there are AI that's on the battlefield, and the AI are very well done, in my opinion. Like they're fighting their own battle, and you're there too. Like you're not the only one that's out there fighting. And I think
it's kind of like they're just kind of like the grunt, like frontline soldiers, and your guy is more like a special ops kind of guy, like a more highly trained kind of guy.
Yeah, and I mean, I used to think that they weren't like overly important, but when you're playing like attrition and stuff like that, they're vital just because of you kill them and it actually like you gain a point for your team and stuff like that. And it took me a while for me to catch on, but like the thing I liked about Titanfall was just the newness, like the complete unique experience when you drop in and it's like, oh, I'm in this game, and it's just you go all out trying to figure out what to do and all this stuff, but they made it so simple in terms of like the core game was like, you know, you only have like 10 weapons. In my opinion, I'd rather have only 10 weapons and then be solid and like well-rounded and they have their uses than have like 50 weapons and everybody complains because one weapon is just so good compared to all the others.
Yeah, right.
And
yeah, like if you I mean, it was a little different if you're using like the sniper rifle. But, like, if you went up against somebody who was using an SMG and you had an assault rifle, you didn't necessarily feel like you were at a disadvantage or an advantage.
Yeah, it was
situational, like the range and everything too, but, like, they matched up, like, even playing field, you just meet each other in a hallway. It doesn't seem like one is over an advantage of the other.
I think they give you a lot of tools. They give you a lot of tools at your disposal. You've got the option to like parkour the thing and try to get away. You can melee attack. You can turn invisible depending on your stuff, your equipment settings and stuff like that. So I think that there's a lot of it that is that comes into play. That the game is what I like about it is it's so simple in terms of like its core is very well done, and so anything they add on to it works well with it. And that's what I thought was like one of the best things. I mean, everything I did in that game, whether it was just like shooting or calling in a Titan, it was all unique enough, and but it felt right. And so nothing was really out of place. I mean, I don't utilize the wall cling as much as you guys talked about you doing it. I hardly do it ever, but it's one of those things that I just don't take advantage of it, but it's not a bad thing in the game. Like I don't have this one thing that just irritates me to death about the game that I can't stand. It's all just good.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm glad you made that point because I feel like a lot of games, especially Call of Duty, there's exo abilities or whatever in games like that where they seem really cool because there's so many different options to do. But then when you get in the game, you're like, I can play without this, so this is stupid.
A lot of them too
But
is like they give you so many options, but one of them is so much like works so much better than anything else. Then you're stupid if you use something else besides that one thing that everybody uses.
right, but all the options you had in Titanfall, whether it was invisibility and stuff like that, all served a fairly good purpose. I mean, and they all worked pretty well, and so I really enjoyed that kind of choice in the game of how to play instead of kind of being funneled into a type of style to play, because if you didn't play like that, you were going to get killed. So,
Last thing I wanted to touch on before we moved on is, like Tyler said, the whole Battlefield feel, where it just drops you in and there's already all this stuff going on with the AI and everything. A lot of people were mad because it was a 6-on-6. Like as far as the human players, it was just six versus 6. But when they add all the AI, like the grunt guys and the robot, the specters, and then the AI titans, because you can call it a titan and not even get into it, all that stuff going on is just makes an insane game. That, like they said, is just so much stuff going on in the game. And if you're a bad player, like you're not really good at killing other player controlled characters. In games like attrition, you can still feel like you're doing something if you're killing the AI. Like you can kill the AI the entire game, not kill a single player, and you can still come out on top of the board as far as score for doing that, if somebody else is just totally ignoring the AI guys and only going after players.
I think that one of the good things about AI being on there is that when I was new, I didn't know really how, like, the feel of my gun, the range, anything like that. Like, I just dropped in it and was like, okay, I'm in the game. And because there's really, you have the tutorial, but it just doesn't, which the tutorial wasn't bad. It just doesn't prepare you, in my opinion, well enough for just the crazy action that you're going to experience. It's like, it's relatively tame in the tutorial. It just tells you how to
Well, it tells
walk,
you,
run,
yeah, it
the
teaches you how
basics.
everything works. Because
Yeah.
like I said, players weren't used to being able to do all that stuff.
Right. And so like when I had AI I was able to shoot at, it actually helped me gain some confidence of like, oh, this is what I can do with this gun. And then honestly, if you continue to grow the multiplayer experience in that, at least how Titanfall is set up, it's going to be very difficult to have like 40 Titans in the maps that they built. Like I feel like Titanfall 2, it could be great, it could be the best thing ever, but it just for the original Titanfall, the player count they had was actually, I liked it. I thought it was fairly
worked
good.
really well.
Yeah. I think Titanfall has a great uniqueness that we haven't seen in a while because we've been absorbed by so many Call of Duties. So I feel Titanfall is a good variant besides Battlefield on that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see what they do with it in the second one, definitely. So.
And they keep releasing content. I know Taylor touched on this a little bit at the beginning, but they keep releasing new content and stuff for it. Like just maybe the end of last year, they added the co-op mode into Titanfall, which it was just, you didn't pay for it. It was free. It was great. And it was a lot of fun. It's just, it's really cool that the developers have stuck with the game, and they're not, in my opinion, they're real humble about it. They're just like, hey, this is what's coming up next. And like, they don't have this price tag selling you everything. It's just like, hey, you want some new maps? Here you go. That's it. Like it's just simple. Very, very well done. I hope they keep that with their next one.
And I haven't seen really any like gigantic sales on DLC or season passes from a lot of other games either. Like Respawn has done with Titanfall. But I would definitely say give a strong. I can't really give like numbers to these as far as a rating, but I can
tell you to play it.
Yeah, very, very strongly recommend you play it. And like I said, I do want to get back into it a little bit once Tyler gets his Xbox back and up and running. So hit me up on Twitter if you would like to join in with us at McJestin. Next game, Dead Rising 3. Tyler, did you play this one? I know, Tyler, you kind of got your Xbox late later in the year, so I don't know how many of these you've actually played.
Well, actually, I got my Xbox a year, as far as I know, a year after it came out, roughly. We
Thanks
we
to me.
skipped to like the Xbox isn't even mine; it's Tanner's. Tanner decided to use some of his money from graduating to go out and buy an Xbox One, which I mean I have really well utilized, and it's been awesome. But Tan's the true
Owner
Tan
of
the
it.
man.
Yeah, that's why he's the man. I'm telling you,
Yeah,
So
I
it's
saved
been
Tyler's
great.
bacon.
Yeah, you did. Saved my bacon. Saved my wallet.
Saved his marriage, just everything.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Don't go that far.
Yeah, that was my first and second marriages were terrible, but this,
Once
this
you got
fifth
the
one,
Xbox One, no, everything's smooth sailing.
Not right now, Christian. I'm still bummed right at the moment.
That's what eHarmony needs. Do you have an Xbox One in your life? Start today.
Anyways, so did you play
Yeah.
Dead Rising 3?
And for those of you who care, I am single, ready to mingle. Call me at 555
Okay.
6138. No. That's a completely random number. That'll be a blooper for us. And by the way, since we're in a blooper mode already, I've only got like 25 minutes before I have to like walk out this door, because I have practice for church tonight. So
I will stop talking about it and move on. Dead Rising 3.
All right, let's do this. Dead Rising 3.
Dead Rising 3 restart, reboot.
Tyler, did you play Dead Rising 3?
I did not, so I have nothing to add.
Tyler, oh my gosh. Okay, we won't touch on this too much.
Yeah, we
Christian,
did talk
because
about
we talked
this.
we talked about it last week, so we won't touch on it too much. But Dead Rising 3 in itself was a very giant jump in the series, just because number 2 was awful. Just kind of the versatility of the game style, not really all there.
Yeah, I
really-
did not was not a fan of the ones coming before this one.
Dead Rising 1 and 2 just kind of, I think Capcom tried to make they kind of tried to use what they knew about zombie games and make a totally different environment with it, and they really failed at it. You can't really have that open world, free running style of play like you did in Dead Rising 1 and 2 with the controls that you did. It felt real clunky and blocky when you would move around.
Well, for the
and-
time, at the time, it was like at least Dead Rising 1 was interesting. I know I played it a lot until you got to a point where you had to use guns, and that was just so horribly done. I could not continue. But yeah,
Yeah,
Dead
so-
Rising 2 was just kind of more of the same. Really, not much.
It was the same. It was the
improved.
same exact game. It was the same style of play. Everything, nothing got fixed on it. Just a different character. But Dead Rising 3 was very well done with the open world feel. I mean, they had a lot of zombies in the game. They did a very well job with the zombies, the story. And the graphics were very beautiful for a launch game on the Xbox One. I was impressed when it first came out, and just how it ran and how smooth the game was.
It's definitely
So,
a show-off game for the power of the console, for sure.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. So, I mean, in my opinion, if you haven't played it, I would recommend you going and buying it and tell your buddy to get it too, because it's a lot of fun in co-op as well.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
I know me and Christian pretty much beat the half of the game together. So
I don't think I even finished it. The story, in my opinion, wasn't that great. I don't think I finished.
I thought
the
it was
story,
really
but-
good. So, I mean, but whatever. I
Yeah,
beat
whatever.
it. But
I guess we can continue to Killer Instinct. I know, yet again, me and Taylor have played this one. Tyler, have you played this?
Is that the Killer Instinct? Is that
The
the
fighting game.
that's the arcade
fighter?
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I played it very, very briefly
With me.
because
The base
It-
game is free.
it didn't hold my attention. I mean, it was free. I downloaded it, played it, and after I got like through fighting with my one character and beating like a couple levels with it, I was just like, okay, this ain't for me, and gave it up. So
It definitely
Yeah,
caters.
I don't think it has
sorry.
the same level as Mortal Kombat and the Injustice game. I don't
It's a
think-
different. I think it's a different pace. This was like a game. I think it came out on. Did it come out on the 360 or the original Xbox,
No, it was. I want to say it was.
or before that?
It was before
they've
that.
got pictures of an arcade. I don't know if that.
It wasn't. I want to say it came out around the time that the Dreamcast was. And I don't know about that. Maybe a little after that.
I don't know.
Maybe,
Anyways,
I don't
it's
know.
a super old game that they rebooted.
Yeah. Right.
But I mean, it's cool for me at least. It's cool to kind of to play with Taylor or whoever just to kind of mess around. But yeah, there's definitely people that do like the championships and all that stuff. But it's
And
very,
they're really
very,
good at it.
Yeah, it's very, very quick. You have to be good to be good at this game, for sure.
And I'd like to give a shout out to my lovely girlfriend that when Christian was in town, before I left Ohio, Allison was at my house as well, and Christian and Allison played, and she beat him in a fight on Killer Instinct, so that was impressive.
Yes, that's true, but this is also after Taylor and Allison played, and she beat him as well. So, I mean, you can't say, well, I guess Taylor's girlfriend is just really good at intense fighting games.
And beating people up, so it's kind of scary, really, but all right.
I hope you're ready for that. But yeah, like I said, the base game is free. I think with just one character. They may have added more new characters.
They added a lot of characters, actually. But...
There is a season, I'm talking about for free, and there's more you can buy. But there is a season 2 now with some other stuff. I have not tried it since then, but it's definitely a unique one. A cool little... When it launched, there was no other fighting games. It was good if you just wanted to play a fighting game, I guess. There still hasn't been a whole lot more though on the Xbox One. We got Mortal Kombat coming out soon, but I don't think there's really been any others. Has it?
UFC is the closest thing we've gotten to.
Yeah, I'm thinking that.
All right, so the next one I have not played. Tyler's not played. Tanner's not played. But Taylor has played, so he's going to talk about it.
I have played it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, Tyler played it.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll let you guys talk about this one.
All right, Tyler. How long did you play on it? 'Cause I played quite a bit.
Well, do you want to mention the title?
Well, I played.
I
played for about like an hour or so. And then after that, I decided that it just wasn't like the game for me. I am extremely OCD, and completion is very important to me on certain games. Like there's if there's story and stuff like that involved, where I like if I go read a note and it gives me a code to a door to where I unlock better gun or something like that, like it if there's that element in the game, it's one of those things where my drive is to go finish, like go get that, go do that. So that game has tons of little bits of information that you can learn, and
What's the game called?
Dark Dreams Don't Die.
Yeah, D4. And I guess we didn't say that. But yeah, so because of that, that was one of the reasons I was just like, I don't think I can invest enough time into it, because it was a little too slow paced, because I did that, because I was spending like 5-10 minutes trying to like find food and everything. And
well, what kind of game is it? Like, what style of game is it?
If you were using a phone to play it, I think it would be very easily done. I mean, I know you can use the Kinect to play it as well. But the best, I mean, Infinity Blade is a good example of how that game works a little bit. You walk around, you click.
Is it almost like a Telltale game? Like
yeah. I'd say more.
I'd
say more along that line. Yeah.
It's a point and click, consequence and action choosing game. So that's why I liked it. But Tyler, continue. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have really too much more to add, except for, I mean, I like the style in some ways. I think that there's certain things that I didn't like about it, like just with my own struggles and stuff like that. Like having half naked women everywhere is just not something that I need in my like viewing for more than
in the game.
Yeah, like I mean, like you can put different costumes on. I think her name's Amanda, which is
this is one of those games.
It's one of those games. Like you can put costumes.
But you don't
on
have
her
to.
And, and stuff like that. You can put costumes on your own guy. Like,
yeah, so
okay, and Taylor, answer me
that's
this.
That's like you can play Dead or Alive and you don't have to go to the bikini mode or whatever it is.
yeah,
right,
you don't
except
have
for
to.
her like stock uniform and stuff like that is like a Playboy bunny outfit. So it's
She's a
very
cat.
difficult to add or subtract from that. You know what I mean? Like it just didn't get any better. So for me, I
Yeah.
couldn't. I just
she's a
don't
kitty.
want to have that in my viewing. So Taylor, answer me this: is Amanda a cat?
She is a kitty cat, yes.
Okay,
Like a
that's
real
what I
cat?
thought. I was
Like an
like,
actual
I knew
cat?
this.
Yeah, she turns into a cat. It's like one of those games. It's just like a weird game, but yeah,
Sounds
she
like
is a
weird
cat and
Japanese
also
game.
and turns into a person too. She's kind of the cat when
witch?
no, she's not a witch. She can't even like talk, but yes, she is definitely a cat.
Yeah, because at here's the things that like I pick up in games. At the very beginning of that game, it talks about the cat, and the cat's name happens to be Amanda, but I didn't learn that for a little bit. But like the cat has this red bow or something like that. Like it has something very obvious on it. And then you read about it and you don't see the cat or anything like that. And the cat has two different color eyes. One's green and one's blue or something like that. And so that's just stuff I notice. And so then when I open up this door and Amanda comes jumping out at me, and it's not a cat, it's a woman, and she's like climbing all over me and like licking me and doing whatever, trying to like things that a cat would do, but it's in a human body. It immediately was like, okay, this is like something messed up in this dude's head where he thinks this is a real person when in reality it's a cat. That's
Do you
what I
think
got
he's
out of it. I don't know
sexually
if that's
attracted to a cat?
No, the story is no. He's not sexually
Well,
attracted to a
for
cat.
somebody like me who knows nothing about this game, this sounds really, really weird.
It is.
Okay,
I mean,
well,
I
it
was
is
about
weird
to
to
say
look at like
awkward for
that.
a
It's
moment.
it's a weird game because he used to be a detective, Boston detective, okay, and his wife got murdered, and the whole game is trying to find out who murdered his wife. So he tries to go back and find people that were involved in the case, and when he picks up something that, like a belonging or like a memorabilia of a person, he gets trapped in like a past experience or a dream, and he goes back to see what actually happened. And the whole thing is to try and find out how and who. Well, she got shot. Spoiler. Well, it says that in the beginning, so I didn't spoil anything.
Yeah, it's
But-
definitely
But who murdered his wife? So
That actually does sound interesting.
that's the thing that I liked about. I mean, the game played off his mind, like what is actually going on in his head and stuff like that. And so that was like that's what kept me going to like play the game. I was like, okay, this is like a really cool concept. My problem was that the amount of time I was putting into it and the amount of story I was getting out of it, it wasn't going fast enough for me.
yeah, you felt like you weren't really doing too much because you had to do a lot to kind of put to It's like a 500 piece puzzle. Like it's not really making sense at like the first 200 pieces. So
Well, okay, so you guys played this when it was free to download, right? And I also downloaded it.
No, I bought it when it came out. 'Cause
You-
I've been kind of
what?
watching. Yeah, dude. Okay, hey, shut up for a second. This game is very similar to a game on the PlayStation that was called Heavy Rain. And I really enjoyed Heavy Rain. Like the consequences and choices change how the game turns out, and what you find out kind of helps you throughout the game. So I really enjoyed that game. So I bought this game when it first came out. So yeah, judge me,
You spend
okay?
the $15.
I better believe I did.
Do you think it's worth the $15?
I do think it's worth it. Yeah, because the amount of time that you can put into the game, yes, I definitely think it's worth $15.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
I will.
I'd say it's just my personal convictions are why I quit playing it.
Right.
So I mean, it's not.
No, nobody's faulting you on that point.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to like sit there and look at like a naked woman all day, then obviously I would not even attempt to do it. But
I mean, there is more to the story than just that. That's
yeah,
It's just distracting.
Yes.
Right.
it's
Right,
like
we
it's
get
like
it,
a
we get it.
rabbit. It's a rabbit tail you could chase if you're that kind of person. But a person that's like very story oriented, it's a good game to follow and understand and kind of
Well,
get.
so Tyler, so somebody like you where that kind of stuff, and I'll be honest, somebody like me also where that kind of stuff kind of sets you off, you you don't feel like it's the greatest thing to subject yourself to.
Yeah, I mean, anything that for me, I think that it's just part of the the degradation of your mind is like it, as someone who's had access to a computer since he was 13 that had the ability to look at things he shouldn't have looked at, and how that's actually changed my health and dating relationships and stuff like that is very, I'm feeling the effects of it today, and it sucks. But, so when there's certain things that highlight or, not even that they highlight it, but they just establish it as okay. Like, this is normal.
Right.
For me, I can't like go past that. Honestly, the thing that really stopped me from playing the game was the guy that was like more like a girl than a guy, and then him and his mannequin.
The cross-dresser? Yeah.
The cross-dresser, yeah. Like,
that was
just like the flamboyancy of it. I was just like, I don't think I can play this game with this much like content for me, who it's an area that I would rather cut the head off and not play it than to just dabble with, like flirt with the line, if that makes sense. Like,
or play with fire.
Yes.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I guess it's really all, I mean, which we could say that about every game, just like personal feelings about the game. So
can we move
on? But
yes,
I mean, I would have to agree. I mean, I feel like I don't want to spend too much more time on this game, but just, I don't know, it's just becoming more prevalent in video games today, and it's just becoming the standard to think that, hey, you have to have some kind of half-naked woman in your game, or people aren't going to want to play it. So I don't know, but
we can have more class than that, gamers.
Yes.
We can definitely.
Yeah, that's not fun. No.
Yeah, take pride in shooting people in the face and not looking at women in a video game. Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Well,
yes.
Not every game has to be like Grand Theft Auto.
All
right, guys. Well, this has been good. I got to go. Got some other important priorities I got to get to.
Real
so
life.
I'll let you guys kind of figure out the rest of this at the end of this podcast here. But so this is Tyler and Tanner.
Yeah, and Tanner, who wishes to stay.
Yeah, we got to go. So priorities. They're now changing, even though New Leaf is a good priority to have. It's not the only priority I'm committed to. So yeah. All right. You guys take care. Have fun with the rest of the past exclusive games.
I love you.
Bye.
The listeners love
Much
you too,
love,
I'm sure.
Live long, prosper.
You just have to leave with something nerdy, don't you? Every time.
It never fails. You can't just
something awkward and nerdy.
Awkward and nerdy. Have we not talked about awkward for the last 20 minutes?
Yeah, you and Taylor did have an awkward moment.
I don't even like Star Trek, so bam, there.
That makes it even more awkward.
I like the DVD Star Trek. The new one was kind of.
What are you talking about?
Movies, the 2 new movies that came out.
DVD Star Trek.
That's a new series of Star Trek, bro. They get a new ship. It's called the DVD, dog.
It actually looks like a DVD.
Yeah, they use the Blu-ray set. Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Come on.
The Blu-ray is its defense system.
Wow. Okay.
We're such nerds. We're such losers, guys. What
we are.
to
We
us?
can roll with it. We got lasers.
I know, right?
Disc drives and okay. We gotta go. See ya.
All right.
Bye.
Catch you later, Tanner. Bye.
Bye, Tanner.
All right. So, while me and Taylor wrap this up, the next game we're going to talk about is Forza Motorsport 5, and I refuse to call it Forza. I don't know.
That's how you pronounce it.
I don't care
so
if that's how everybody pronounces it. There's no T in it. It's Forza Motorsport. But I think you bought this game before I did, Taylor.
I bought it on release, so yeah, 'cause I love cars.
When I bought it and fired it up, and loaded the game up, I remember just being absolutely blown away. This was for sure, and maybe still is, one of the best displays of the graphical ability of these consoles, for the Xbox One at least, because this game did not come out on PlayStation, obviously. But it was just so gorgeous. The reflections on the side of the cars, the tracks, the backgrounds for the tracks weren't the greatest, but the tracks themselves were really, really clear, really clean, really well done. And the cars themselves just indescribable, how good they looked. And a lot of time that I spent in the game was just sitting in like the garage, just looking at the cars. It was blown away. Taylor, you're more of a car fan than I am, though. So,
Yeah.
What are your impressions?
I really like the fact about, I mean, every Forza has its ability, but just kind of the whole building, especially in the car scene, it's a really big deal to build your own car and not to buy it built. I mean, people will make fun of you, at least in my past experiences. I've made fun of people that just buy cars that have a lot of stuff done to them already without doing it themselves. But so I really enjoy the fact of, well, let me tell you my favorite thing about the game, and I'm sure you know what it is. And
Oh, yeah, I do.
in Forza 4 and also Forza 5, there is a special little car you can buy, and it's called a Volkswagen Corrado, and that is actually the car that I own. I own a 1990 model, and the one in the game is a 93 model, because the 93 model was a 6-cylinder and not a 4-cylinder supercharged. So obviously they're going to put the bigger engine in the game. But just the simple fact that I could use my real life car in the game really hooked me, and obviously I know everything about the car. And when I'm in the garage, like Christian was saying, looking at my car, like you can go to the back of the car, and on the Corrado, when you hit 45 miles an hour, your spoiler unfolds. And that's what happened in the game. When you hit 45 miles an hour, your spoiler unfolds. And it's so cool to me. Just the amount of realism that is in that single factor of the game. And I think it's awesome. It just, you can buy supercars, but I just kept upgrading my own car to the classes that I would get into just because I didn't want to use anything else. So
Yeah, he could have like the McLaren P1 was like the big car, but you're just still using your Corrado.
Yeah, exactly. So it'd be like me versus 8 Lambos. Like, I got this guy. So and it's just an absolutely beautiful game. So like Christian said, when you first load it up, you just look at it and you just watch that first intro scene, and they're racing, like real driving real slow, and the doors are opening on the cars, and it's real life functions. Like that's really how the cars operate
Like
on a day-to-day basis.
if somebody
in
didn't
real
know
life.
better, they would probably think you're watching something on TV.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I mean, yeah, just because of how nice it looked, and it looked real. I mean, it was just real.
I like
But
I like racing games where you can really customize the cars as far as like how they look, and this one you can get pretty in depth with like the vinyls and the paint you can do. And my favorite part of the game was just like putting different paint schemes on the cars. Like I remember I had the Dodge Viper, and I'd be like zooming way in and cutting in paint and stuff, and like really getting really detailed, instead of just kind of like slapping the logos or whatever on it, but really kind of changing the entire paint scheme of the car. I even went so far as to where it says Viper on the back of the car, it's kind of bumped out. I took white letters and put them over the VIPER to kind of make them stand out and go with the rest of the white trim that I'd put on it. That was a lot of fun to me, and I definitely liked that a lot. I didn't play it too much after. I kind of burned myself out on it when they had the event or challenge or the achievement challenge where you had to get the McLaren within a certain amount of time after the game released. And I remember I played it like nonstop, day after day, like week after week, to get enough money to buy that McLaren. and I finally bought it, and I raced a couple races with it, and just kind of stopped playing it. But I definitely enjoyed my time with the game. I thought it was well worth the money that I paid for it.
Yeah, and you said the paint scheme about the cars is very awesome as well, but unfortunately, since I own the car that I use in the game, I didn't do all that crap to it. I just had the factory Alpine white paint coat because that's what my car is. So I didn't really touch into too much of that. But yes, the fact that you could download. I mean, you could do this to past Forzas too, but just how well the paint system worked and the editing system worked when you could download a scheme for your car.
Yeah,
and it was
like somebody else could make something and upload it, and you could download that, or you
right.
could upload your own thing.
But yeah, I would, if you never got to play the game and you have a little bit of money, I would recommend.
I don't know if I would go back and buy it because we've got Forza Motorsport 6 coming out probably this year for sure. So I'd probably just hold off and wait on that.
Well, whatever then, I guess.
Whatever. But something we didn't talk about was the Drivatar.
Oh yeah, the Drivatar. That's funny. Let me tell you about this. Let me tell you about Drivatar. Oh well, so my Drivatar is very brutal and very abrasive.
My Drivatar is a total jerk. I'm no playing
Yeah,
around.
so the Drivatar just pretty much takes your tendencies and how you play and puts that into a local game with your friends when they play.
It learns
their
from
races.
actual players. So when you're playing offline against bots, the bots act like other players, and they have gamer tags above their heads, or not their heads, but above the car.
The cars.
That says who they are. And they could be, most of the time they're on your friends list, but they could be just random players from Xbox Live.
And when I race now, let's get it straight here. In real life, I would never ever touch my car, someone else's, and if someone touches my car, they're probably gonna have like broken legs. But in Forza, if I'm racing and I can knock you to the left to get in first place, I'm probably gonna do it. And that was kind of how my Drivatar was. He was just all over the road, and he did whatever it took to win. So it was really awesome because people would message me, "My Drivatar is a jerk." So I thought to myself, "Job well done, Taylor. Job well done." So.
Yeah, mine was pretty much the same way. Something that I would always do though too is I would use other cars as a barrier as I was going around a turn. So I'd get way inside and I would not even brake at all. I would just kind of slam into their car and use them as like a bumper to get around the corner. So I'm sure mine was just absolutely terrible to race against as well.
But I mean, I feel like that's really all I had to say about that game. And like you said before, I mean, the new one's coming out, so I don't really know if I would say buy it, go back and buy it now, just wait. It's definitely the new one. I can only imagine how it's going to be, so it's definitely worth your time and your money. I would assume the new one's going to be.
And
so.
this one is more of a tournament or like an event racing game, I guess you could say. They do have Forza Horizon 2, which is on the Xbox One, but we're not talking about that because it released on the PC as well. It's not exclusive. It's more of a kind of an open world type thing. It's
Forza's version of Burnout Paradise. If you've ever played Burnout Paradise, so on the old console, so.
But so it's a little bit of a different scene, I guess you could say. But yeah. Moving on from there, let's talk about Sunset Overdrive. I still have not played this. Don't really have an interest in playing it, but Taylor's talked about it before on an earlier podcast. He loves it, so I'm going to let him talk about
it. Sunset Overdrive. Well, I saw this, I mean, I talked about it before, but I saw the game on...
Yeah, we talked about this before, so I guess kind of nail it down to why should people try this game?
Why should you try this game? Okay, well.
Why should I try this game?
Well, I told you before, it's it's a goofy story, but it's goofy enough to where you want to keep playing because you think it's funny what's going on, and you kind of become interested in the story because of how the characters act in the game. And I love when games break the fourth wall and your character knows he's in a video game, and just things like that are really enjoyable to me. I like when the guy feels, I don't know, like in this game he really knew he was the main character or the hero, so people would say stuff, you know, well, if you don't do this, then you might die if you do this. And he's like, yeah, well, I'm going to respawn right over there, so don't worry about it. And stuff like that. And I really thought that was funny. And just the versatility and how you could play. I mean, the game, there is no sprint or per se, but it's like a jog is your normal movement, but you can swing on things, and grind is the big thing. Grinding on rails, on electrical lines, that kind of stuff. And that kind of gets you across the city fairly quickly, and just you shoot while you're grinding and all kinds of things. So I mean, it's kind of like it was really, the jumping around and stuff like that reminded me of Saints Row, or not Saints Row. Wow, my bad. Crackdown. Just the movement kind of felt like Crackdown. But the weapons were cool. There's like a teddy bear launcher that had a C4 or like dynamite stuck around it and stuffed in it. And you could shoot it and it would blow up when it would hit the aliens, or not the aliens, but the infected people. So really, I mean, it's kind of hard to explain how the game plays because it's just such a different kind of variant. But when you look at it at first, you're like, wow, this is like a game for a 10-year-old. And if you think that, then you need to rethink that, because that's not true at all. The things it says and the way it acts in the game is very adult oriented. Not to the point where it's like you can't play it, just the language almost, and just the jokes that they make, the innuendos. I mean, it's nothing over the top per se, but it's definitely oriented towards adults and not kids. Because I know when I first saw it, I was like, "This looks like a little kids. It just looks like a little kids game."
Yeah,
but it's definitely not. So I mean, honestly, it kind of has somewhat of a dark story, I guess. But if you haven't played it, I would recommend looking for it cheap. Don't pay $60 for it. I paid $30 for it, and I was very satisfied with it. And I bought the $10 DLC just because I really enjoyed the game that much. But yeah, I got the full 1,000 gamer score, and I put my fair amount of time into it. So I definitely would recommend it to someone that has not played it. So
I might try it if it's like just so ridiculously cheap I can't pass it up. But
that's what I would do.
Very far down the road, I would assume. Last game we're going to get to talk about this week before we wrap it up and continue this is going to be a game that we've talked about a lot. And Taylor and I played this week for a little bit. I forgot to mention.
We played one game, but
yeah. This is the Halo Master Chief Collection. And as I'm sure everyone knows if they've listened to the podcast, I'm pretty disappointed in this game because it is now, almost 3 months since it released?
3 months. Yep.
Maybe a little bit more. And it still doesn't work very well online. It works a lot better than it has in the past. Taylor and I got joined up together and got into a match fairly quickly the other day. But there's still little kind of quirks and issues that they should not have been in the game from the beginning. I felt like it was a little rushed to be put out. I don't think they were quite ready for what was going to happen to it. And I mean, some games, like say Battlefield 4, for example, when that game released, it just totally just bombed the servers that it was running on to where it was almost unplayable for months. But that was like it. They just had to fix the server side. I feel like there's a lot more issues that happened with this game than just the server stuff. Because they were constantly fixing like campaign stuff and like just all kinds of stuff. It seems like just way more stuff than just server connectivity. Would you agree?
Yes, I would agree, and I would say that I'm completely dissatisfied with it, but really they redid the campaigns excellent, and thankfully that saved me enough before I was like totally, I hate this game. But they really did, they've come a long way from when it first came out with
Yeah,
how
they
they
have.
fixed the online, but that's still no excuse. The game should not have even had problems when it came out.
I mean, it's a lot of fun. Like when you actually get to play it, it is so much fun. We had a really crazy fun time the other day playing it, but there's just none of my friends are playing it now because of all the issues. Like everybody was on this game when it came out, but now it's just nothing.
And it sucks because I mean this Halo used to be the go-to game when you were whatever, like when you got home from school, I want to play
Yeah.
Halo, like whatever. But unfortunately, I guess for some, I don't know if it's like we weren't expecting this many people to be playing the game. If they were really thinking something like that, I don't know what they were doing.
Yeah, no.
Because that's stupid. Because they should have known that they were going to have millions and millions of people playing this game upon release. So,
if you're a Halo fan and just haven't picked this up, or if you've never played Halo, this is a good one to pick up. I know they've had a couple of sales, and just really quick, they are releasing the ODST game, not the firefight mode, just the story mode, and I think one more redone map for free for everyone who played it up to a certain date while it was messed up. I think it will be paid DLC for everyone else, and I am probably 90% positive that they will release Halo Reach as DLC also, to get the entire. I don't think they'll put Halo Wars in it just because it was kind of separate from the rest of the normal Halo games, but I do think they will have the entire Halo library, besides Halo Wars, on the Xbox One before Halo 5 comes out. And if Halo 5 comes out and it experiences any issues at all, Halo, I think, is just, it'll be done at that point.
if it experiences issues, I'm going to be really mad because we were talking about this earlier a little bit before the podcast, but I mean, Halo 5 I'm looking forward to Halo 5, and then I'm just not going to have any expectations because I just don't know what to expect, really. So
yeah, you really don't. I mean, I think they're doing it better this time around. We've had a beta extremely early, honestly, just way early for a beta, like almost a year in advance. And it had some connectivity issues. Everybody's complaining about it, but honestly, it's a beta. That's what it's for. So I'd probably say for sure, they've said that they probably will not do another beta, but I think that for sure we'll see another one, probably another beta for more the traditional gameplay style, like with the vehicles and everything, since all we've really seen so far is the competitive arena mode. So I think for sure we'll see another beta. That'll probably be it, just that one beta before release, but that will help them as long as they're doing that properly. So I can hope that Halo 5 will be good on release. I mean, I'm still going to probably buy it because I am a Halo fanboy. But if they still have these same problems, I think the future of the franchise will be very, very set back.
I agree, and I hate to say that. Well, the games we just listed were Xbox exclusives because we only talked about 6 games really, and honestly, it's pretty sad that we have to. I mean, there's tons of Xbox exclusives, but those were the only ones I thought that were really worth talking about.
Yeah, they kind of stood out.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm kind of worried honestly about how.
And I mean, most of them. All of them except for 3 came out on release.
Right.
Or very close to release.
Right. And that's ridiculous. That's not how it should be, and I'm kind of worried. I mean, PS4 just won the console war, I think yesterday. So
What?
I don't know. Yeah, dude.
PS4 won the console war. That doesn't
Yeah,
make
look it
any
up.
sense.
I'm telling you, dude.
It's not
look it
like
up,
an
bro.
official. All right, they're like signing the treaty. This is the end of the console.
Yeah, huh? Look it up, man. I'm
No,
serious.
what are
They
you
did it.
talking about? Wait, did this happen on Reddit?
No, oh my gosh. Okay, whatever. I'm being serious, but I think that looking at these games, like you said, they were all like half of them were launch games. I think
More than
Microsoft has a long way to come before they kind of start competing with the exclusive. I mean, they just gotta bring something new to the table, you know?
Yeah, this this year at E3. I hope we see some really crazy stuff, because the stuff we will continue this next week. We're going to talk about the future exclusives and the timed exclusives, and then try to get into more of the like the hardware service Xbox Live side. But most of the future exclusives I'm looking at have not. I mean, I'm like, yeah, maybe this will be okay, but there's only like a few of them that I'm really like, yeah, I want to play that. But they're all kind of just whatever. Nothing really amazing that's standing out so far, at least.
And that's really unfortunate. So,
Yeah, well, that's going to wrap it up for this week. Like I said, we will look forward to talking about this more at a future time. We're going to try to not stretch this out a whole lot for like weeks and weeks. I want to maybe 2-3 weeks we'll go through all this as we have time. This weekend has been crazy for all of us, I think. Hopefully next weekend we can do them all and maybe release them midweek or whatever. But yeah, that's about it for this week. If anybody's listening and is a PS4 fan, I'd like to talk about, maybe have a guest talk about some of the stuff that PS4 is going on, because none of us on the podcast have a PS4. I mean, I look at the news, but I don't really follow it a whole lot. So,
sorry, go
What?
on.
now I'd like to have somebody who's familiar with it talk about what the PlayStation's been doing for the past year and a few months, and
Right,
kind of
and-
what they're doing in the near future.
Right, and I'd also like to remind everyone, if you have a YouTube account, please search the New Leaf YouTube channel and subscribe and like. I just put up a Battlefield Hardline beta video. It's just a real quick 3-minute video of just a bunch of compiled clips. Me and Christian and our buddy Graham playing together, and we're just trying to get some exposure, social media exposure with using YouTube and stuff like that. And I enjoy making videos, and really I will put more time and effort into it if people will watch the videos, because you don't want to spend 8 hours on a video that people aren't going to watch.
Yeah.
But definitely get on the YouTube channel and look us up.
Look up us.
and
it's just New Leaf. That's it. There's nothing after that. Just New.
And
Leaf,
you're gonna
2
have
words.
to type in New Leaf, Halo, or Far Cry, or Battlefield, or UFC, because there's a New Leaf town in the game called Animal Crossing. That's all it is if you type in New Leaf.
There's also another New Leaf Gaming. I didn't realize that till the other day.
Yeah, well, they
It's
can
been
fall in the hole,
inactive
so
for like years.
I'll forget about them. So
But besides that, you can reach us as always on Twitter at the New Leaf Crew, and email if you're old school, the New Leaf Crew at gmail.com. Of course, our Facebook page should be fairly easy to find. New Leaf Podcast is the name of it, and that's about it for this week.
yeah, sounds good to me. Hopefully next week we can get through the rest of our information.
Hopefully, at some point during this, we'll actually give somebody a reason to buy an Xbox One.
I know, right?
Oh,
I haven't
this
heard
game's
any
okay.
compelling reasons
Yeah,
yet.
no, not really. They're like
Wow,
two
that
launch games,
sucks.
like a launch game. Like, man, this was so good. buy an Xbox One for this, like, almost like year and a half old game. Yeah, no. not
Right.
good.
It's like, yeah, you just said that was so good.
Yeah,
That's
it
terrible.
was good at the time. Now it's like you could pass if you really.
Right.
felt like it,
Jeez,
but-
what are we doing? Oh well,
Can
I mean,
we
we gotta
just-
be honest
can
with
we
the
just-
people. You know, we don't want them to waste their money. So
Yeah, no, we're not, for sure not fanboys. But man, this kind of got me down. Like, can we just sell our Xboxes and buy PlayStation 4?
no.
No. Okay. Man, it sucks. This is the end of the podcast, but we don't have Tyler here to like say something really dumb and make everybody laugh.
I know, man. It sucks. I guess I'll try my best.
All right, go.
Um. Oh, I have a knock knock joke for you.
Okay.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Banana.
Banana who?
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Banana.
Banana who?
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Banana.
Banana who?
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Apple.
Apple who?
Orange. You're glad I didn't say banana?
What is wrong with you?
I don't know. I just thought it was pretty funny, so maybe not. I'm gonna have to tear that one out of my joke book. Dang.